Story time. So today I went grocery shopping with Ethan, and we were heading home. We piled all the groceries. I forgot to unload the sound equipment from the car, and so there was no room in the trunk. So we had all the groceries piled in the back seat. And they were, when I say piled, they were piled, y'all. They were up to the tops of the seats. So we're coming down the highway, and we come to a light, and as I am coming up to the light, it changes to yellow, and I see it change to yellow, so I start slowing down. And I'm fairly close to this light. But as I'm slowing down, the groceries all start just waving forward, like just piling forward. They're just falling and crashing all over. And I glance back just for a millisecond, look forward, and I'm stopped in the middle of the intersection. And the light is still yellow. And so but then I make the split second. I'm like, it's fixed to turn red. And so I just split second decide to hit the gas and go through the light, glance over, and freak out a little bit because there's cars coming, and go ahead and pull over. And Ethan goes, "Mama, there was a cop at the intersection." I'm like, I don't even care. There was cars coming and they almost hit us. So I didn't even care that the cop was there. I mean, I cared, but I was like so thankful that we were okay. So I pull over and I'm shaking. I'm like adrenaline rush, just freaked out. And if any of y'all know, in last December, what is everything in December? Last December, I was rear-ended by a semi at very slow speeds, but it was still very damaging to our vehicle, and also to Ethan and I. We both had whiplash really bad. And so I was just like, it was like a trauma flashback. And I was just so scared that we were going to get severely hurt. And I have friends that have been T-boned and things like that. And just the thought just like freaked me out. And so I'm on the verge of tears. I'm shaking like a leaf in the wind. And I'm pulled over on the side of the road right past the light. And the cop comes around the corner and he pulls over behind me and flips his lights on. And I was telling somebody this story, and I said, only I would pull myself over. I didn't even need the cop to turn his lights on. I'm like, don't mind me. I will pull myself over. So I'm sitting there, and I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. She's meowing. She wants outside, but she's not allowed outside, so she's just going to freak out over here. But so I'm pulled over on the side of the road. The cop's behind me. His lights are on, and I'm like, I'm going to get a ticket. It is what it is. I know I blew right through that red light. Very slow speeds, but I went through that red light. And he comes up and he goes, "So I pulled you over because," and I go, "Because I ran a red light?" And he goes, "Well, it was yellow when you went in, and then it was definitely red before you got through." I was like, "Oh, I ran it." I was like, "I ran it 100%. I said, "I'm not even going to try and argue with you, sir. I completely ran that red light." And I know I did. And I said, "I'm very aware I did." I said, "Actually, I'm a little bit freaked out about it because I said, "I'm just going to be honest with you." I said, "I'm not trying to make excuses. I'll accept whatever you decide." I said, "But my groceries were falling. When I started hitting the brakes, it freaked me out. I glanced back. When I glanced back and I looked forward, I had accidentally stopped in the intersection. And when I realized that, I went ahead and just pulled on through because I didn't want to get injured or be in the way of anybody else in the intersection." I said, "So I went ahead and pulled through." And I was like, I pulled over because I was shaken. I said, "And then you were right there as well." And I was like, "Well, might as well." And it's like, I was like, I accepted my fate is pretty much what happened. And he goes, "Okay, well," I'm handing him my papers, and I'm like, he had to like grab them from me. Ethan's like trying to help him because he's on the passenger side. The cop is. Oh, this officer was so sweet. But I didn't even get his name or anything. I was just so like, oh, I can't believe this just happened. I'm a law-abiding citizen, y'all, by like 3 or 4 miles per hour always. So anyways, I digress. So he looks at my insurance, my registration. He goes, "Well, your insurance and registration is good." He goes, "I'm going to have to go run your license." He goes, "But if it comes back clear," he goes, "I more than likely will probably give you a verbal warning." And he goes, "But let me go run it real quick and I'll let you know." And I was like, "That's fine, officer." I said, "Do whatever you have to do." I said, I'm here. And he goes, "Okay, just stay in your car." I said, "Yes, sir." So he goes back and runs the license, and he comes back and he goes, "Now, Miss Cynthia, here's your license back." He goes, "It came back all clear. Now, I don't want to mess up your last name. It's Roush, right?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "You got it right. Very good." And a lot of people mess it up. But anyways, he He goes, well, I don't want you to stress or anything. He goes, I really appreciate your integrity. I appreciate your honesty. And I'm like, I was honest. And he goes, and the fact that you pulled over immediately, he goes, I didn't have to chase you down or nothing. He goes, so I really appreciate all of that, and it means a lot to me. He goes, so because you were so honest and straightforward, and because wasn't intentional, he goes, I'm going to let you off with a verbal warning. He goes, but just make sure you stop at the light next time. I said, yes, sir, I will. This video just keeps getting longer and longer. But anyways, yeah, so it gets better though. So we go ahead and pull out, and we're heading to the road to our home, and we pull into the parking lot, and we get into our driveway, and as we're getting out to get the groceries, I look over and there's a cop car driving down our street, and I'm like, is that the same cop car, Ethan? And he goes, I think it is. And I was like, it's the same cop. And he's driving by, and he rolls his window down. So in our area we live in, there's cops that come and patrol all the time, and it's totally fine. And honestly, I like it. I'm glad that, we have that security. But he rolls his window down, and he smiles. He goes, I swear I'm not following you. And I said, sir, I know you patrol this area. I know that you guys do patrol this area fairly regularly. So I said, I did not think you were. I said, but that's kind of funny. So I apologized again, of course, because, it's my personality, and thanked him again and wished him a Merry Christmas. And he was very kind and very generous. And but I just thought that was kind of a crazy story. Like, I don't know what, I was having such a good day, and then I was like, I'm getting pulled over. Well, I pulled myself over, technically. But anyways, I digress. But there's a little story for you guys. I'm not sure if it was entertaining or not, but my arm is about to, fall off from holding this phone, and it's getting a little shaky. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.